Sometimes love doesn't shout. It whispers quietly through the things we barely notice, through a look, a pause, a breath shared in silence. And those whispers, according to the legendary Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, can tell you far more about how deeply a man loves you than any grand declaration ever could. Now, before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a moment with someone, maybe lying side by side in the dark, where nothing was said but you felt everything? Maybe he didn't say, "I love you," but the way he looked at you, the way he held your hand, somehow said more than words ever could. If that brings something to mind, share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you find this topic meaningful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring more videos like this, diving deep into emotional, truth and psychological insight. And stay with us until the end. There's an important message waiting for you. Jung believed that true love often speaks through the unconscious, through the involuntary, raw moments when we're not performing, not pretending, just being. And in a man's most vulnerable states, that's where his real emotions slip through the cracks of his composure. You see, what makes these signs so powerful is that they are unintentional. He doesn't even know he's doing them. That's what makes them honest. The unconscious mind doesn't lie, it doesn't need to. It simply reveals. Throughout this video, we'll explore 4 of the most intimate unconscious behaviors that, according to Jungian psychology, show when a man fares truly in love, not just attracted, not just attached, but emotionally intertwined with you at a soul-deep level. These are signs he can't fake, can't script, and often doesn't even realize he's showing. And the first one, Q, is hidden in the eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. But Carl Jung believed they're more than that. They're a mirror of the unconscious, revealing truths that words often try to hide. And in the quiet intensity of intimacy, a man's gaze becomes one of the clearest signs of what he truly feels, even if he hasn't admitted it to himself. When a man looks into your eyes during intimate moments, not just briefly, not just out of habit, but with depth and stillness, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. His guard drops, his ego softens, and without even knowing it, his gaze confesses a vulnerability he rarely shows anywhere else. This kind of eye contact isn't about performance, it's not about seduction, it's about presence. It's the silent, involuntary act of allowing himself to be seen, not just physically, but emotionally. That's what makes it so rare. Most men are taught from a young age to separate physical closeness from emotional expression, to stay composed, detached, controlled. But when real love enters the picture, that old conditioning starts to break. You'll notice it not just in how long he holds your gaze, but in how his eyes soften, how they linger after a kiss, how they search yours without needing a reason. Jung would say this is the thema, the emergence of a man's inner feminine, that part of him which longs for connection, tenderness, and emotional unity. On the other hand, if a man avoids your gaze in these moments, it doesn't always mean he doesn't care, but it might suggest that he's still holding something back. Perhaps he fears being seen too clearly. Perhaps he's protecting a wound even he doesn't fully understand. According to Jung, this could be a sign of the shadow, those hidden fears and unresolved emotions that block true intimacy. But when his eyes meet yours and stay there, open and unguarded, he's not just sharing a moment, he's surrendering a part of himself. And in that surrender, something extraordinary happens. You don't just see him, you feel him, the real him, the one behind the masks. And it's in this quiet, unwavering gaze that love often speaks loudest, without saying a word. After the eyes have spoken, the body follows. And here, in the space where words fall away, another sign of true love begins to reveal itself. You'll notice it not just in how he touches you, but in how he gives, not out of duty, not for praise, but because your pleasure, your happiness has become his own. Carl Jung believed that real love was never about possession or control. It's a merging of opposites, what he called the conjunctio, the sacred union between two souls. And in this union, the instinct to take transforms into the desire to give. That shift is profound. It's no longer about what he can get. It's about how deeply he can connect. When a man is truly in love, your joy lights something inside him. He notices what makes you sigh. He remembers what made you laugh. He learns your rhythms, not because he wants to impress you, but because knowing you, really knowing you, matters to him. He listens to your body like it's a language he wants to understand fluently. This is far beyond lust. Lust is selfish. It seeks gratification. It consumes. But love nourishes. It listens. It waits. A man driven by desire may rush, may act without thought, but a man in love slows down. He tunes in. He finds fulfillment in your fulfillment. And he doesn't even realize he's doing it, because it doesn't feel like effort. It feels like truth. Jung would say this is the anima at work, his inner feminine guiding him toward empathy, receptivity, and devotion. And that devotion doesn't end with the act itself. It spills over into the small things. The way he checks in with you. The warmth in his voice when he asks, "Was that good for you?" Not out of obligation, but out of genuine care. You see, this kind of giving isn't performance, it's instinct. The most authentic kind of devotion doesn't draw attention to itself. It simply flows quietly and consistently, like a current beneath the surface. And when a man chooses your pleasure, not just once, but over and over, it's not just a sign of good intimacy. It's the unconscious language of the heart saying, "You matter." All of you. It's in the moments after the passion fades, the silence, the breath, the stillness, that his feelings speak the loudest. And what they reveal can be far more honest than anything said before. According to Carl Jung, true intimacy doesn't end with physical closeness. In fact, it often begins there. When a man is deeply in love, he doesn't just retreat into himself after intimacy. He stays close, not out of habit, but because something inside him is still reaching for you. His body may be at rest, but his heart isn't finished speaking. A hand resting gently on your skin, a whispered memory from childhood, a simple touch to your face. These are not planned. They rise from a deeper place where the unconscious takes over. Jung believed that after moments of deep connection, the shadow, those hidden, often repressed parts of our psyche, can emerge. But in love, that shadow doesn't come out to harm. It comes out to heal. A man who stays emotionally present after sex isn't just showing you affection. He's showing you trust. The kind that says, "You're not just safe to touch, you're safe to be seen by." This is rare. Society has taught men to armor themselves, to withdraw, to equate detachment with strength. That's why many men turn away after the act, roll over, fall silent, or leave the room. It's not always rejection. Sometimes it's protection. Protection from the vulnerability they've just felt, from the fear of being known. But when he stays, when he lingers, when he lets his forehead rest on yours, as if the world doesn't exist beyond that breath, you are witnessing something sacred, a quiet rebellion against everything he was taught about masculinity. A man who does this is not just showing affection. He's allowing his whole self to be seen. Jung called this integration, the merging of light and dark within the self and with another. In these unguarded moments, when he remains close not out of obligation but instinct, it's a sign his love runs deeper than flesh, because after everything physical is done, that's when the heart tells its truth. There's a kind of magic that happens when two people fall into rhythm without even trying. No words, no planning, just a natural, effortless harmony. According to Carl Jung, this isn't coincidence. It's the unconscious at work, drawing two souls into alignment through what he called participation mystique, a deep, instinctive connection that goes far beyond the surface. You've felt it, haven't you? Lying together in silence and realizing your breathing has matched his, reaching for a glass at the same time, shifting your position and noticing he moved with you, as if your bodies were speaking a language only they could understand. That's not habit. That's not practice. That's the psyche speaking through the body. When a man is emotionally bonded, his nervous system begins to mirror yours. His gestures echo yours. His pace slows when you slow. His laughter follows yours like a familiar melody. And these aren't tricks. They're not things you can learn from a relationship book or force in the moment. They're spontaneous signals from the unconscious saying, "We are safe here. We belong here." Jung believed that real love awakens something ancient inside us, something the rational mind can't fully grasp. It's the body remembering what the soul already knows, that we're not meant to remain separate forever. That in love, the boundaries between you and me begin to blur in the most beautiful way. This is why synchronized movement, shared rhythms, and mirrored stillness feel so intimate. They're not signs of control or performance. They're signs of surrender, of resonance, of recognition. Compare this to moments where the connection is shallow or purely physical. Movements feel clumsy, mismatched, overly deliberate. Each person remains locked in their own world, navigating separately, even while sharing space. There's no flow, no dance. But when a man's body finds yours as if it's always known the way, when your limbs fit like puzzle pieces, when the silence feels full instead of empty, that's not chemistry, that's communion. It's the unconscious whispering the one truth words can never quite capture. You are not a stranger. You are home. By now you've seen it. Love isn't always loud. It doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures or poetic words. Sometimes it's quiet. It shows itself in a breath that matches yours, in the softness of a gaze, in the warmth of a hand that doesn't let go too soon. And that's where Jung's teachings become not just theory, but living truth. For Jung, love wasn't merely an emotion. It was transformation, alchemy, the moment when physical attraction becomes something spiritual, when the conscious mind and unconscious finally align and speak in unison. He believed that every man carries within him the anima, his inner feminine. And when he falls deeply in love, he isn't just meeting a partner, he's meeting a reflection of his own soul. That's why the most meaningful relationships feel almost mythical, familiar, as if they were written before either of you even met. It's not fantasy, it's psychological recognition, a remembering of something ancient, something deep. And when love is real, it bypasses logic. It shows itself through the body, through instinct, through acts that are impossible to fake. The 4 signs we've explored, deep eye contact, selfless giving, emotional openness after intimacy, and unconscious synchrony, aren't just romantic ideas. They are signals from the unconscious, proof that the man before you isn't simply interested. He's connected, invested, changed. But love also calls us to presence, to courage, and sometimes to awareness of what may not be love at all. And that brings us to what's next. In our next video, we'll explore the other side of Jung's teachings, the unconscious red flags, the subtle but powerful signs that a relationship might be built on projection, illusion, or unresolved wounds. Because if love is alchemy, illusion is confusion disguised as magic, and knowing the difference is everything. So, if this journey into Jungian love resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And now, here's that important message I promised. Love, when real, doesn't leave you guessing. It lives in what's felt, not just what's said. And if you listen to the body, the gaze, the breath, the silence, you'll always find the truth. Let us know in the comments what signs you've seen in your own story. Until next time, stay aware, stay open, and trust what cannot be faked.